What's up, y'all boys? Welcome back to Beyond Bounce. This is going to be episode 11. We have a special guest today. So, introduce yourself, name, height, all that good stuff. Where you from?
Yeah, my name is Dylan Stone. I'm 5'9" and a half, 5'10" in shoes, I would say. I live in Newport Beach, California, and I've been started my dunk journey and started to train for dunking about, I think it's been 5 months, maybe 6. It's been 5 months, going on 6, I believe. Yeah.
Sick. So yeah, tell us about your athletic background, because there's obviously a few things that you do. You skated. You quite obviously lift. I've seen you do some gymnastics and also some golf. So tell us about like your whole athletic background, like before you got into dunking or even heard about it.
Yeah, so a lot of people ask me that, and I was like, I didn't play any sports growing up. And after I was looking at a couple of those things you asked me, that's not entirely true now that I think about it. So I didn't play like team sports, is what I should say. I played basketball for a half a season when I was maybe 12. But my buddy was like, you got to start skateboarding. Like this kid I met in, I would say 7th or 8th grade. And I was like, yeah.
What made him ask you that?
Because he was good at skateboarding. And
You just
I
wanted
was
people
doing
to
like
get into it.
all the other sports like BMXing. I did like aggressive inline rollerblading, whatever else that wasn't skateboarding.
Yeah.
So I started skateboarding and I got fucked up all the time. And my coach was like, "You can't skateboard." And I was like, "Fuck this, dude! I'm gonna go skateboard instead." So I just quit playing basketball, which I loved. I loved it a lot, but I was like, I'm not gonna stop one thing just to do this. So I did play I did do those, if you want to count them as sports, like BMXing,
I would definitely consider that. Yeah, for sure.
skateboarding, and then I
Like
got
you
what's that?
still get like certain contacts, especially from like skateboarding, especially like with certain drops that you have, at least.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it may have been you, Juan. I was talking about somebody in that group chat was saying that definitely has a lot of impact on your knees, and like you jump
Yeah.
a million times.
100%, bro.
And then when I was super young, I saw a bunch of people doing like flips and stuff. I don't know where it was. Maybe it was like a parkour thing, and I was like, I really want to be able to do a backflip. And I always loved jumping. Like, dude, I wish I could get on my MySpace. I know I'm old, but you can't get on it anymore. I had a bunch of videos of me just like jumping over shit, like couch cushions. It's like all I like to do is, and I could jump pretty high, just higher than all my other friends. I remember the specific video. I had like 7 or 8 couch cushions I jumped over, and I was like so happy about it.
What?
Um, and I
Wait,
also
7 or 8? Like how were they set up?
like just stacked straight up.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
And then I also wish I could get on my YouTube account. That was back in 2008 and 7. I would just jump off of like 2-story like roofs and stuff for fun.
Oh.
And, I've tried to get back that too. It's gone. It's I guess Google or somebody took it over and it's gone for sure.
Okay.
I've tried for like hours. So when I was super young, like middle school, I did like a bunch of the like BMXing, and I tried skateboarding, rollerblading, and then was jumping over stuff or off stuff, and then was teaching myself how to do a fucked up ass backflip. So there's always like a little bit of jumping here and there, and then about 9th grade, I just started skateboarding, and I stopped everything else. Still trying to do backflips here and there or whatever, but was like, I love skateboarding. This is all I want to do, and that's pretty much all I did throughout. I would say till maybe 11th grade, but no team sports. Like people, I remember talking to some people playing football, or like I was on the football team. And I was like, yeah, that's fucking stupid. Or like, and I like basketball still, but I was like, I don't care. I'm not going to try out for that. So that was
Why
pretty much
not?
it. I just skateboarded. You say why not?
Yeah.
I just wanted to skateboard and dream.
You were just all about it, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
like just how you get into like your first love of anything. Like if it was basketball for you guys or whatever it is, skateboarding was like all I wanted to do, and pretty much party. the very stereotypical skateboarder.
Yeah. Okay. And then what about the time from there in between to when you like first heard about dunking or first got into it? Like, what did you do in between that?
Oh, so I always wanted to dunk though. But
Really?
for some reason, this is pretty stupid to think because I clearly over time was able to jump higher. I was just like, I'm not tall enough. You can't. How high you can jump is what you get. And I would always try. And I think I could. I think I remember when I touched the rim for the first time, which was like when I was like 23 maybe. But prior to that, I was like, dude, I've always wanted to dunk. I thought about it all the time, but I just never tried or thought you could, like I'd be able to. I don't know why. I think about that often. Um, can you say the question again? I'm sorry, I forgot what you said.
Yeah, it was just like yeah, just like you're from high school, from like the end of high school, how when you were skating and stuff in between that and when you first got into dunking or first heard about it. What did you do in between?
Well, that's there's a lot between that. So pretty much up till 11th grade, senior year, like I was skateboarding, and then kind of gave that up for the most part because I just wanted to drink and party, and that was pretty much it. So from graduating high school to moving out to California, I pretty much just was drinking and partying, and that got like out of control to where I was like, my friends and my family were like, this is not good. Like this is all you do, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. And I kept doing it to where it ended up getting so bad. I'm like, all right, I got to change something. So that's when I came out to California. I literally packed a suitcase and had literally nothing, and then just came out here and slowly, very slowly, started to rebuild my life out here, which is really, really good. And still wanted to dunk, but just didn't think I could. And as I got older, and then about 23, when I moved out here, I met some people, and I got this really unique job where it was kind of like a personal trainer. It was for drug and alcohol counseling, and you train the guys in the gym. And that's when I started to work out, and I was like, oh, this is actually cool. Because if you asked me about working out in high school, I'd been like, that's stupid. I'm just gonna go skate. Because there's like maybe 5 skateboarders who like want to be strong and jacked. Like that's like not what skateboarders do. And I was like, oh, this is actually good for you and dope, and I really like it. And I was a stereotypical chest and arms, nothing else. And then I had some clients who were super strong. They were squatting like 315 to 345, and I was like, I wonder if I can do that. And I squatted a very ugly 315, and I was like, wow, I can squat pretty heavy, which I've never done before. And
Where do you think you got that strength from beforehand?
I don't know. Maybe skateboarding, because I was really skinny and little. Like I was not. I'll show you some pictures that I've sent him in the group chat. I was like 140 pounds in high school. If not, when I was 20, I was 133. Like bone skeleton, not an ounce of muscle or fat on me. And then when I came out to California, I got a lot healthier, but I was still I don't even think 165 maybe. And then same with deadlift. I deadlifted the first time, and I think I did 300 pounds or something. I was like, this is fucking fun. I was like, this is what I want to do. So around, I'm going to get the age and years a little off. Maybe I was 24, 25 around 2018. I was like, I can lift heavy with these. I'm just going to continue doing this. And then I saw powerlifting, and I was like, oh, you train for squat, bench, and deadlift for the heaviest you can go. I was like, this is sick. This is what I want to do. So I just literally squatted and deadlifted and benched for 4 or 5 years, and that's all I trained. Like, did accessories, but it was just like squat as hard as I can, zero regard for my body. Same thing with deadlifting. Like, you guys think I'm bad now with injuries, where I have accountability and like you guys and the coaches to be like, stop doing that. I ended up in the hospital a few times in a neck brace. I'm just like, I'm going to get this lift or break my back, which probably got me pretty strong, but I had like 5 or 6 setbacks to where I had to stop for months. So that's all I did out here for the first 5 or 6 years, or maybe 4 or 5 years, was squat, bench, deadlift. And then again, I got hurt. I always get hurt doing something stupid, and got scorpioned at the beach in like shallow water. I tried to dive in like 2 feet of water and landed on my neck, and I had like a shoulder neck injury for 2 years. So I just like gave up on the powerlifting thing, and then I got into team sports. I started playing basketball, and then flag football and golf, and I was like, dude, these are all so much fun. And I was like, I don't want to lift anymore. I don't care. So I just started playing basketball. A co-ed flag football which was super fun, and just like you said, Juan, I never played any of these sports besides a little bit of basketball, and I was like, oh, I'm pretty good at this, and I was super fast, and I was like, this is all I want to do. So I did like a men's league basketball, co-ed flag football, and then played golf as much as I could, and stopped lifting. And what's crazy is, obviously I overdid it, but the playing basketball started to wreck my knees faster than squatting and deadlifting over and over again. Like, I never had knee problems. I always said that. I'm like, dude, my knees have been rock solid. And I started playing basketball for 6 months, and then I had knee pain. So that's even though it was a little long, that was probably condensed for the most part. I missed a couple of things, but
Yeah, nah, that's crazy, man. So you're saying you walked in there, did 300 for 315 for squat, 300 for deadlift,
well, I
and
was squatting a little bit,
yeah,
but like I can't remember
like would
doing.
you say you gained that strength relatively fast?
Yeah, I did. I hit some plateaus, but
Yeah,
yeah, it just kept coming. And then I I used to smoke like a ton of cigarettes, and then I quit nicotine completely. And nicotine's an appetite suppressant. And when I stopped it, I started eating a bunch of shit, like candy bars and whatever, to like get over the cravings and stuff. And I gained a shit ton of weight, so that helped me get a lot stronger. So I went from
that makes sense.
like kind of fit, like had some muscle, and then I gained like 20 pounds and got like beefy, and that helped me get way stronger.
Yeah,
There was something else I was gonna say. Um, what was it?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
kind of back and forth, but kind of like mixing some stuff up. But that was like for the most part.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. And you talked about like all the injuries you went through. I bet there's like it goes a lot more in depth, but how are you able to persevere through all that and keep that drive to keep training, keep playing sports, keep having fun doing this stuff?
Well, probably I don't go about it the best way. I get an injury and I refuse to acknowledge it unless it's so bad to where I physically can't do what I'm trying to do, which is why Phil probably hates me right now. Um, I
Filipino.
I've
Okay,
had
I'm sorry.
there I usually get in, like when I was lifting, I would get injured doing something dumb. Like I did try to jump and grab on a basketball rim. This is why when I dunk, I don't hang on the rim. I jumped up and tried to grab the rim and got it with my fingers, and my feet swung out, and I fell, 7, 8 feet straight onto the concrete on both my wrists. That fucked me up. The thing at the beach fucked me up. For like 2 years, I couldn't do any pressing movements. I thought I had a torn labrum or rotator cuff, and the doctor's like, it's in your neck. Um, I'll get like a nagging injury, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm still gonna lift or do whatever I have to do, uh, which I don't think is the best way to go about it, because it prolongs it. Um, a lot of it is pretty stupid. Like, to be honest, I'm just like, I want to get this so bad, I don't care. But if you look at the big picture and down the line, it's like, if you rest for a fucking month and not do anything and like do whatever you have, then you'll be back to 100% and you can keep going. Instead, I'm like, oh, a week or two and
Yep.
I'm going to keep going. And you're at
Yep.
70% for 3 months. I
Yeah.
don't know if you
No.
guys can relate to that.
Yeah. No. 100%. No. I completely agree. I've had to learn that lesson for like the past 6 months with my knee injury for sure. Cause yeah, I just kept pushing that wall, and then I would like kind of try and stay right here against that wall, but then I would end up breaking it and getting a flare up. So no, I completely understand that for sure. Um, yeah, 2 years, that's a long time, bro. Like stuff like and all the other things, like how did you like actually like come back from that to be able to keep lifting? Because obviously you still got it.
Well, it was for about 7 months. I really couldn't do any pressing, and then for I'd probably say another 7 months, I could start to do some pressing, but it was just like always nagging me, always like, I don't know if you guys bench a lot or do pressing movements all the time. And if you have a nagging shoulder injury, it's like, it sucks doing those movements because it just hurts.
Yeah.
And I hated lifting when I was hurt. And, dude, it's just like the drive of wanting to get like whatever you set out to. I'm like, I want to get 315 on the bench. I want to get, 5-6 plates on deadlift. Like, whatever I have to do, that's what I want to get to. I'm just stubborn and hard-headed, and that I didn't want to let injuries hold me back. But I also had never done any of these things, like had a coach or had any training. Like, nobody trained me on any of this. I just figured it out, come up with it on my own, and figure it out as I go. And I get hurt a ton along the way. On the bright side of it, I've learned a ton about injuries and how to heal them and what to do and what not to do.
100%.
And then, so I was doing the powerlifting, and then I was playing sports, and I was like, I'm gonna start lifting again. And I was like, I want to squat over 500 pounds, and I'll send you the video. I tried to deep squat 515, and I was not confident in it. My buddy like barely got me up. And then I saw THP videos, and I saw this long-haired kid. I think his name's Travis.
Travis Reynolds.
And he was like the nastiest dunker, and he's like my height, and I'm like, dude, these are just like the genetic freaks. I also saw Austin. I'm like, this is just a genetic freak. What's that?
Travis is 6 foot, and Austin is.
Oh, he is. Okay, well,
Well, unless you're talking about another Travis.
No, he's definitely talking about Reynolds, Travis Reynolds.
He's just insanely good at dunking, and he's got long hair. He's still, even 6 foot.
Yeah.
I'd rather be 6 foot, obviously, but anywhere from 5'9" to 6 foot, like, you still have to jump pretty high. So I'm like, I just thought they were genetic anomalies, which is ignorant of me to think. And I saw THP videos, and they're like, we can get you to dunk or gain inches on your vertical, and I was like, fuck this, I'll do it on my own. And so I just started just spamming max effort plyos and jumps all day long while playing basketball. Every plyo I did was like, jump as high as you can, jump as hard as you can, every day, all the time. But not dunking. I was like jumping over this portable squat rack, and I put a PVC pipe over it. And it helped for like a few months, and I started to get knee pain, like jumper's knee. And I'm like, I didn't hurt my knee. So I'm like, fuck this, I don't care. Take ibuprofen. Oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. Max jump. I did that for like 6-7 months till it got so bad to where I'd wake up and I'm like, dude, I can't even walk. And I was like, and I couldn't push through it, and the ibuprofen didn't help. And I'm like, I think I fucked my knee up pretty bad. And it was really, really dumb. Because I was jumping pretty fucking high, and was getting like little dunks. And I was like, dude, I'm doing it, but my knee got so bad to where I couldn't play basketball anymore. If I could, I'd have to take a bunch of ibuprofen, 45 minutes, and I'd get like 30 minutes of not as bad pain. And it got so bad that I was like, dude, I didn't know what to do. And I saw all these people talk about how to fix your jumper's knee or this and that. And I tried everything. And I'm like, I'm fucked. There's literally nothing I can do. And then I pretty much gave up. I gave up on everything. I was like, dude, I can't fix this. I'm getting old. I'm like, this will never go away. I was trying some crazy ass shit. I was trying like every supplement. I got a doctor to prescribe me some wild ass experimental stuff you take for it that people swear it works. Paid a shit ton of money. It didn't work. And I'm like, nothing's going to fix it. I tried everything for a while, and I just pretty much like, I'm done. I'll give up. I'm not going to do anything. And I pretty much just stopped everything. It was pretty brutal. And at that point, having that pain for so long, like, I didn't know what to do. Because I was stubborn. I was like, I don't need anybody's help. I'll figure it out on my own. And I kept trying, and I was like, this will never go away. So in that regard, then after a few months, I was like, I can't do this. There's no way I'm losing to this fucking jumper's knee shit. So I stopped everything, stopped playing basketball, football, lifting, and a lot of people in THP they hate the knees over toes guy and all the stuff that he does. And I saw his stuff, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do these ATG split squats, and I did like 8 million of them until I went from like barely doing it with barely bending with no weight to having as much weight as possible. I did like 1,000 of those. Was it those that helped me? I don't know. I bet you all the THP guys would be like, no. But it was that probably in combination of 8 months off of everything. And then before I knew it, the pain was gone.
I think it's like, at least from my perspective, since I've also been on ATG before when I first started, I basically got into jumping with, I already was having knee pain and shit. And I was
Okay.
jumping really fucking low. But with my time with ATG, like you said, like probably the months off probably is one of the reasons why
Oh,
your
for
knee
sure.
pain probably went down. But honestly speaking, just like a lot of the stuff that Ben has, like it's decent stuff when you're talking like a lot more in terms of general strength. Like it retains qualities of training that aren't too specific to the point where they screw you up, but still build you in a sense. At
Yeah.
least how I see it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And then and then after a while of doing that and doing literally nothing and being absolutely miserable, I was like, I'm gonna start deep squatting again. Like I used to. So before I started THP, like you squat to parallel. That's most people's normal squat. Like they don't say like half squat or full squat. It's just you go to parallel. That's acceptable. And I was like, I'm gonna squat as low as I can because it makes my knees feel better. And I'm just gonna make my knees strong again. So after like 8 months of building up the split squat and then starting the squat, I think like about a year or so went by, and I every morning I'd wake up and test my knee, see the pain, and it slowly went away. I'm telling you, dude, I probably had the worst jumper's knee known to mankind. It was so bad. I couldn't even. I'm good at driving with my left foot because I couldn't drive for more than 10 minutes with my right foot sitting bent like that. It would hurt so bad. I'd have to like tuck my leg in, or sometimes I would literally put it over the side of the passenger and drive with my left foot because it couldn't sit bent like that. It would get so bad. Um, and then after like a year of misery and doing that bullshit, uh, it went away. And I was like, I'm gonna fix this and then sign up for THP because again, I didn't think they helped with that. I didn't look into it enough. I wish I would have started because they probably could have helped me a lot quicker. But I'm like, I can do it. I can do it on my own. And then I saw THP and I was like, all right, they have a sale. I'm gonna try it, see how it goes, and what's the worst that's gonna happen? Because I'm 30 years old. I wanna do this while I can. Before I'm like, you know, most people would say I'm already out of it, but out of the prime.
Yeah, you couldn't be more wrong about that with some of the crazy shit you've already done, man.
No,
And
I
to
appreciate
me,
it.
with everything that you described, I've seen the pattern of you have a really strong drive, and even though that you didn't really listen to your body and you ended up getting those injuries in whatever way that you described, whatever happened, you still it kind of forced you to learn. It really forced you to kind of like you said, like you were in misery, you were down in the depths, so you really had to kind of humble yourself in a certain sense and learn a lot about it, which you just said. You've learned a lot about it, so and it's not always the worst way, um, because I bet Isaiah can relate to that because he's had certain knee pains and a lot of injuries actually, and he has the highest vertical in the world. And obviously, you've said you've been training, doing jump training for about like 5 6 months. You do have a really good base of strength, and I want to talk to you about that as well. Um, but yeah, man, it's like that's still it's definitely not the worst thing in the world because you can still do some pretty cool stuff. So um, yeah, man, we'll continue on real quick. What are your lifts right now?
Currently,
Clean, squat, deadlift, just the main like main lifts.
like as of right
Those
now,
three. Yeah, as of right now.
um, I can do 450 deep squat, which I was texting you. I was going to try to do more today, but with my foot, I'm like, I'm going to stick to what I was doing today. 450 deep squat, 300 power clean, 600 deadlift. Um, what other ones did you ask? Just those?
That was pretty much it. Like those are the main lifts. Wait, did you mention your clean?
Yeah, 300 clean.
300 clean yet. Dude, that's crazy, dog. Okay. So now tell me, how did you talked about how you saw THP, like how did you first hear about that and then first hear about like the dunk community and stuff? Like what how did you hear about that stuff basically?
Um, Instagram send me guys dunking. Like that kid, Dylan McCarthy, I think. I saw a video of him again. I'm like, I thought it was fake. The one where he's standing, he's just standing there and he jumps up and dunks
Yeah.
off vert. I'm like, dude, is this real? Is that a real rim? I saw Austin's videos where they're like, can you dunk?
Yeah.
And he's like, and he goes up and dunks, and I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck, man? Some kids just got it, and that's what I accepted. And then THP ads, and I'm like, dude, I want to try to do this and do it the right way because I jumped higher, like I was able to train on my own to be able to dunk, and I started jumping pretty high, but it was never gonna last because it was such poorly thought out programming, which wasn't even really programming. I was just like, I'm just gonna jump as much as I could. Um, so I was like, I'm gonna try to do this. I was like, I'm like, I can figure this out, and if these people say their program's legit, and everything I looked up about it was legit, and people had good reviews, and um, a lot of people said I didn't hear anything bad about it really,
Yeah.
and it was like half off. So I'm like, it was like I don't know, $50 or something. I was like, what do I have to lose?
Yeah. So tell me about the process, because you've done a lot in that process. You've gotten from 145 to 300 pounds in your power clean. You've hit a few dunks, a windmill, a 360, and a tomahawk, which is crazy at your height. What is your standing? Do you know your standing reach, by the way?
It's 92 inches, and sometimes you're not in that chat. I took me a
Yeah.
few times of measuring it to do it correctly. Like at first I measured it, I'm like, I only have a 7.5 reach, and the coaches were like, no, you have to redo it. It's not right. I was like, okay, and I redid it again. I was like, oh, it's 7.6, and then I had my girlfriend help me, and then I just kept doing it more correctly and more up.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I just added the fucking inches wrong. Like it was 92
Oh.
inches, I think. And I was like, yeah, it's 7.7, or I still don't know what that is. Is it 7.8? 92 inches? Whatever 92 inches is.
That would be that's 7-8.
7.8, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, 5, 10, 7'8" reach.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, tell us about that process. You know, your power clean, your dunks, and your vertical
Okay.
gain throughout the whole time
So
with
I
THP.
signed up for THP. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I signed up for THP, and they send me the workout. I tried to get on the group call, but I was working and some other stuff, and they send me this workout, and it's like calf raises and like 4x10 squats, and like power cleans. And I'm like talking to my girlfriend, and she's an experienced lifter, and I'm like, look what the fuck they just sent me. I'm like, I don't want to squat anymore. I'm like, I signed up for this because I don't want to squat anymore. I was like, I don't need to get stronger on my squat. I'm over that. So I start sending the coaches text messages, and I was like, hey, I apologize like 100 times. I was like, I'm trying not to be a prick. And I was like, but why doesn't the program look like more? And I sent some random program my girlfriend sent me. It's like plyometrics and stuff. And they're like, someone called me a program hopper. I can't remember who it was.
It was Isaiah. It was Isaiah.
Yeah, I didn't have any of the message or the contact saved. And I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not trying to go to any program. I was like, I like you guys. I chose this program, but why the fuck am I doing 4x10 squats and calf raises? I'm like, I don't want to do this. And like, you need to get stronger, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? No, I don't. I came here because I don't want to do that anymore. And I kept saying, I'm sorry for being a douche or if I'm sounding like this, but I was like, I don't want to do this. This is not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to do fucking strength training. And my girlfriend's like, maybe you should do these programs. They look better. And I was like, yeah, they do. And I was really close to not doing it anymore because they weren't listening to me, really. Or I was like, I don't need to get stronger. And to be fair, they didn't know how much I could lift or anything about me. And
Yeah.
my girlfriend's like, maybe you should just go to another program. And I was like, I really want to see if these guys will like listen to me. So I'm like, hello, I'm not trying to do this. And I sent them a bunch of my lifts. And it was like 500 deadlift for like 6 reps, deep squat 480, 2 500-pound squats, a 615 deadlift. I think a bunch more. I was like, I can back squat 385 for 10 and 365 for 12. I was like, what more do you guys want from me? I was like, you want me to squat more? Because I don't want to do that. That'll take all my time to get my squat to go up. I was like, that'll be all my time. I can't train for anything else. And I go, I don't want to fucking deadlift any more than what I was doing. I was like, there's no need to. And then I think like half a day went later and someone went, John, look at this. And then John started talking to me. He's like, holy shit. And they were like, and then he started talking to me. He's like, okay, I didn't understand that you could lift like this. And I was like, well, I guess that's fair. And I was like, I was telling you guys. And so after they saw that, they're like, oh, you don't have to get stronger pretty much. And I was like, thanks. And then they changed my program to what John or some, I think it was, I was talking to John for a while, but someone else was talking. I don't know who it was, but they're like, you're the first person to start out on a velocity deficit, which I really don't know. Really don't know what that means. They're saying I was slow?
No, they're saying so a lot of the time they call BS on like people when they say they're strong enough because that's the first thing they actually try to like get people to do. Like they try to get them a lot stronger and one of the recent videos he says, oh, the reason Isaiah can jump, one of the main reasons Isaiah can jump 54.5 is just because he can do a 405 deep squat with his levers, with his longer legs and stuff like that. But basically, like, yeah, you're in a deficit because they actually saw you were one of the exceptions of actually being strong enough, quite obviously. You were strong enough in your main lifts, so then they saw that, and then they were like, okay, we need to get this guy on deficit training, so they had you focus on like velocity stuff, which is like more just obviously, I'm pretty sure you know, lighter weight, moving it really fast. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
after talking to Phil more, he was like, yeah, you're the first person I think that I know of to start this. And he's like, most people are like, yeah, I'm strong or whatever. And they do like a 315 squat and it's like a quarter rep or it's really bad or whatever. And they're like, yeah, I'm super strong, which is strong and good, I guess. But that wasn't the case. So, which makes sense, and I get it. These guys have a lot of athletes, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm strong." And apparently, I think it was you or someone else was saying like, everybody wants to do plyos, and it's fun, and that's what they want to start out at. But very rarely does anybody do that at all. It's basically get super strong. So after doing THP and understanding how it works, I'm like, okay, you get strong, you get your tendons stiff, you make them elastic, and you get fucking fast as shit in like a certain order with whatever you need, and then you work on what you suck at, and then get whatever you're better at, improve that as well. So they put me on, like I was doing a lot of sprinting, depth jumps that like progressively overloaded, and it was like deep and high knee. And then what else did I do? Like assisted jumps, assisted band jumps, depth jumps where I jumped onto something, and it was super fun. I was like, dude, this is exactly what I was looking for, or what I wanted to do, or what at least I thought I did. I mean, if I wasn't strong, I still would have wanted to do that anyway. And then John went on his podcast, like right when I signed up, and started talking about. He's like, yeah, we just had this guy Dylan sign up, and he was like, no, I'm strong, I can do this already, and was saying that, and he's like, we do a needs analysis and all of this stuff, which he did, and which was cool because I was, super close to changing and going to some $15 fucking plyo thing, which probably would have helped, but it wouldn't have got me anywhere near what I wanted to be or be able to jump. So I did, I missed like the first few weeks. I tried to do my best. Like I was on vacation, I was going to Florida, and I was trying to train as much as I could, but I missed some days. And then I had a jump sesh. I tried to dunk, couldn't do it. That's like the videos I post outside on that outside rim. And then I was in Palm Springs, golfing a bunch in the heat. And then after I got off, I was like, told my buddy, I'm like, you have to drive me to this 24. I need to go do my jump session. And he's like, what the fuck? I was like, I have to. Like, This means more to me than this vacation. And he was all
They
like,
never understand.
yeah, he's like,
Bro,
and
yeah,
I told his dad who was taking me there, and he's like, you won't be able to dunk. Like, you can't do it. He was kind of being a dick. He's like, it doesn't work that way. And now he goes around and shows everybody. He's like, look at this kid. He's Juan. He can do this. Um, I was pretty exhausted that day, and I didn't even get close to dunking. I was pretty upset. And I was like, fuck. End up Ubering back. And then I go to Florida where I can train consistently, doing the depth jumps. And then I was power cleaning too. So they asked me about, I was telling them like, how do I know about how much I'm supposed to power clean? I was like, I can deadlift a fucking shit ton. I was like, but I've never done power cleans because I thought you needed to have mobility, like to be able to catch it. I didn't know you release your thumbs. So I was doing power cleans and all this speed training and jumping. And the third week when I was in Florida, me and my buddy went to play basketball, and I was like, I'm going to try to dunk. And I hit like 5 or 6 pretty good dunks. And I was so hyped. Like, I was probably the most hyped I've ever been on since then. And I try to remember that when I can't dunk or don't get a dunk I want or whatever. And I'm all like, oh, this sucks. I suck, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, holy shit, I can dunk now. And then my training started changing. So with the power cleans, I don't know. Again, I didn't have the coach's number saved. I was just like, I don't really know how to power clean, but I do know how to snatch. When I was training snatches a while ago, like years ago, and when I got hurt on the beach, the shoulder, I couldn't catch anything above my head. And I didn't do snatches up until about 5 months ago because I still was anxious about my shoulder. So I knew the motion where, like, from doing snatches, it's kind of similar to power clean, but it's, it's wider, same kind of like jumping up and catching it. And I had hang power cleans. So the first time I tried to hang power clean, I have the video of it, and it's atrocious. And I'm not letting my thumbs go, and my lats were tight, and it fucked my shoulder up because my lats were so tight, which I thought I hurt my shoulder. I'm like, dude, fuck this. And Ben just sends, release your thumbs, LOL. And I was like, huh? And then he sent me a couple mobility things for power cleaning. I did them today. I do them every single day. Took my shoulder pain away. And then I have the video of me practicing hang cleans with like 55 pounds to where I release my thumbs and catch it. And I'm like, my girlfriend's filming. I'm like, fuck yeah, I fucking got it. And I was like, I understand it now. And then being able to deadlift 600 pounds, it wasn't about the strength. It was just, it's all about form. Like I told my buddy that. He's strong. He's like, I can only deadlift maybe 185. I was like, no. Once you get your form down, you'll be able to do more. So it was really just about form. And I have a bunch of videos of me power cleaning, and you can see the progression of it. And my roommate is an Olympic weightlifter and practiced those. He's the one who taught me to snatch. I'm like, can you teach me how to clean now? And so progressing from 145 to 300, the weight for me wasn't too hard because I've trained deadlift until my back snapped, for years and years. So it was more about the form. Like, the form matters almost more than the strength. It probably does. So being able to deadlift that much, it wasn't super hard to progress until I learned how to catch it right, the form right, like use the form correctly to move the weight, because that's what matters for me, at least. If I was better at it, I could probably do a lot more. So when then my roommate was like, hey, I have time, I'll come train you. So I think I was stuck at 225 or 230 with power clean. As you guys know, like, my legs go super wide, but before, if I'll send you videos, my feet didn't even move. Like, I didn't know to like jump and catch it. And then he showed me how to do all that, and it went from 230 immediately to 255, I think, that day. And I was like, yeah, I was super hyped, and I was like, this is all I want to do. Which is now my new favorite lift. Like, I love that lift so much. And then it was really about just perfecting the form. And then I got to 265. Oh, and then I learned hook grip. I didn't know about hook grip, so I'm doing power cleans up to 255, and I'm like, there's no way people can do 400 pounds without hook grip or without with their grip. I go, there's no fucking way. And my buddy showed me how to do it, and I was stuck at 255. And I realized it. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm about to do so much more. And I think the following week I got 275, which I was super hyped on. And then maybe a month or so was 295. and then I hit 300, and then I tried 315 like 10 times until every part of my hand was shredded and bleeding and was not good because I never learned, and that I couldn't. I just started to try power cleaning again. My hands still feel not great, so that was the power clean progression, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And what about the dunks?
Oh yeah, so the programming now I have to go back and look. I won't do it now because I was just doing a lot of sprinting, a lot of power cleaning, and then I was doing squat variations, which was fun. And then I got to dunk Tuesday and Thursday. So once I got I was doing a million lobs before, always trying to dunk. So I got the lob wasn't super hard for me. Like my friend Darren, he doesn't really do lobs. He just punches them off the dribble, which is super tough. I guess some people struggle with the lobs. It's super easy for me. I started getting the normal dunk down, and then one day I was feeling good, and I was like, "What's the next dunk you do?" And I was like, "I wonder if I could." I didn't know what it's called. I don't really know what anything's called. I was like, pull it behind my back, and I got lucky, and I hit one with one hand. Is it back scratcher or tomahawk? I don't know what the
Tomahawk, back scratcher. There's multiple names, but those are the two main
Yeah,
ones.
and I got one of those, and I was super hyped. I'm texting you guys. I was like, dude, I did this, and I posted it on school, and I was like, does this count? And everybody was like, yeah, it was pulled back enough. It was super hyped. And then I was like, okay, people say windmills next. And then I went and tried it, and people think it's a joke, but I posted it where I tried to do my first windmill, and it looked like a layup, like a big ass layup, like next to the rim, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, there's no way. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So I stopped trying it, and I was just doing regular dunks, trying to dunk from farther, just having the time of my life. And then I think I was talking to shit to maybe like Josh Bell or something, like, yeah, I'll get a windmill, no problem, or Corey or someone. And then I went and tried, and I was like, I'm just gonna try to do the windmill regardless of if it goes in. Like if I'm 5 feet under it, I'm still gonna try. And I had one where I did the motion and it got fairly close, and I was like, okay, and I just kept trying that. And I did one where I got rim stuffed and the ball flew back and almost hit me in the face, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna get this. And then the next jump sesh, this ended up hurting me more than helping me, and I'll explain this too. I would do one dunk, like warm up, and I would just try that dunk like over and over again. So I was trying to do a windmill, and I was getting close. I was getting it over the rim, one like back rimmed, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so close. And then tried a bunch of times, and I was losing steam, and I was like, fuck, I'm done. And I was like, I'll try one more time. And I went from half court and ran as fast as I could and smashed it. And I got to fall on the ground. You hear me scream, and I'm like, yes, like screaming. And then I had my music blasting like crazy, but this kid was like, it wasn't recording. I didn't know him, and he was like, it wasn't recording. And I'm looking at him like this. And I pulled my headphone out. I was like, no, dude, it wasn't recording. And he picked up my phone off the tripod and starts looking through the footage. I'm like, yo, that's super weird. I'm like, don't touch my phone. I'm actually kind of friends with him now, but it was super weird. I was like, why are you touching my phone? Anyway, so I hit that windmill, and I was super hyped, and because it took like 3 days and a gazillion tries. Don't tell Phil how many times I tried. So it's basically like trying to do it, and then I'm like, okay, even if I can't get the dunk, I'm just gonna try to do it, even if I'm nowhere close to it, to get the feeling of it, because I've never tried to do that motion at all. And then I'm just like, okay, what's the next dunks? And then the next jump sets, they were all like super good. Like I just kept going. I was like, this is so much fun. I'm jumping higher. I hit a 180. I almost hit a huge reverse pump. I got rim stuffed. I hit a sick 2-hand back scratcher the next like week or so, and then I'm texting the chat. I'm like, I'm gonna hit an East Bay, and they're like, it doesn't work like that. I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm like, watch this. And then I tried it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not hitting that. I was like, that's way harder than I thought. I was sitting there in my room. I'm like, going through my leg. I'm like, I can fucking do this. It's way harder than I fucking thought. I don't know if I've never done any low rimming before. I've never dunked on anything that's like 9 foot or eight and a half to 9.5. Like never did that. I fucking you get hindsight's always 2020. I'm like I wish I did that.
Yeah.
Realized I'm not getting the East Bay, and then I was supposed to have my jump session on Monday, and I have sleeping issues. I have for my whole life, and I was not sleeping. I'd sleep like 2 hours a night. I'd wake up at three in the morning, and just lay there. I'm like, fuck this. I'd go to the gym at like 4 in the morning and train, and after like 5 or 6 days straight of that, it started to wear me out, and I was fucked up. I was trying to jump. I don't remember if you knew this in the chat, but I was sending, and I got close to a 360, and then I measured the rim, and it was 10 feet, and I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. And I was like,
it was you versus Eric versus, I don't know his name, Gravity.
Oh, yeah, Pierre.
Like you guys said, yeah.
Oh, so this was before that. This was at another gym. Really? So I went to a doctor and got a sleep medication because I was like, I need to sleep. And then I slept 10 hours 2 or 3 days in a row and felt great. And it's Sunday, and Pierre sent the Gravity's Tired sent a sick dunk session, and I was like, fuck. And I'm sitting there like, I'm gonna go dunk and not tell anyone. And then because everyone's like, no, you can't do that. And so I texted Phil, and I was like, I still had to do my dunk sessions and workouts pretty early at like 6 or 7 before work. And I was like, it sucks doing that, Phil. I was like, I do it tomorrow. It's like Sunday. I'm literally sitting here doing nothing. I was like, do you care? He's like, no, go for it. So I go to the gym by myself, to a new gym, because I wanted to see if there's 10-foot rims or whatever. So I go to this gym. I'm warming up, and I'm not good at dunking off the dribble. I need my arms, and I've never done off the dribble ones. And so I go to do an off the dribble dunk, and I get so high. I get rim stuffed, and I was like, oh, these rims got to be like 9'8". I was like, I can never get that high. And then I start trying to do a windmill, and there's too many little kids like running around with zero regard for anyone else. So I was like, fuck this. So I went over to the other rim where I was by myself, and Pierre sent the 360, and I was like, I'm going to try that. So I tried it on the third go. I almost got it, and I was like, dude, I can do this. And then I tried it like 100 times. Overdid it. Way. I was probably only supposed to jump maybe 30 times. I probably jumped 100. I probably tried the 360 100 times until like I literally was like shaking, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. People were playing full court. I was like, fuck this. I'm going when they're not on this rim. And I was jumping so high, and like I could see like in the rim pretty much. And I was like, these rims have to be like 9'8". They have to be like so small. I didn't get it. I was super upset, and I was like, fuck this. And I measured the rim right before I leave, and it says it was a little like over 10 feet. And I was like, and they were playing before, they were playing back and forth, so I had to measure it while they were playing on the other side. I saw the 10, like past it, and I had to get out of the way, and I was driving home, and I was like, this rim is 10 feet? And I'm like, no. So I was like, I'm going to get home, eat, and I'm going to drive back to the fucking gym and measure it. I drive back to the gym, and they're still playing. I was like, fuck. So I go again like a fucking idiot, measure the rim while they're playing, and it says 10 feet. And I had to go, and I'm like, I'm driving home, and I still didn't believe it. And I'm like, it's not 10 feet. There's no way I'm jumping that high. So I drive back to the gym at 5 in the morning the next day while nobody's there, so I can measure it like 100 times. And I was like, oh my God, this is 10 feet. It's a little over. And I measured the other one, and it was a little over 9'11", and I was like, what the fuck? And so I was tripping out. I was jumping so high. I think I was jumping at 41 inches, or maybe even a little higher.
100%.
Because I still have never jumped that high then. But what happened was I never had been even close to jumping that high, and I did it so many times, my legs pretty much broke down for like a month. I couldn't jump after that for like a month. And then I did that testimonial for THP, and Austin's like, yeah, you're coming to the dunk session Orlando? And I was like, who the fuck are you talking to? He's like, oh, you. He's like, Isaiah said you're coming. I was like, Isaiah doesn't know who I am. He's like, yeah, like you're coming, right? I go, no, I think there's another Dylan, the Jump Master X Dylan. I can't remember his last name.
Haugen, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, there's another Dylan. You're not talking about me. He's like, no, you are. And I was like, he's like, you're coming to Florida on March 14th? I was like, yeah, how the fuck do you know that? I still don't know how they know that. It's whatever. So I was tripping out that. I didn't believe it. And then I met Darren, who's on THP, and I was like, oh, I'm going to punch this 360. And that's when Eric and Pierre were like, the 360, and my legs wouldn't work. So I'd try to jump, 5 or 6 times, and my whole quads would flare up, and I could maybe get 25 inches off the ground without it hurting. And I was pretty screwed from that for a while. Even at Orlando with those guys, I couldn't jump really good at all, um, which sucked pretty bad. But I did get that dunk that I was trying, which was super hype. And then after doing a bunch of drops and whatever, they programmed me a month and a half later. I tried that 360 1,000 times for probably like 6 sessions. That's all I tried. It destroyed my jump technique. I could only jump if I spun like that. And then I sent you the video where you're like, I think it was you. You're like, you just hit all your dunks in one session.
Yeah.
I finally hit that 360. It was super good. And then I hit a windmill that time in a really shitty. I would just more call it just a 2-hand dunk. I try to pull it back, but I don't know why those are so hard to me. I can't do those anymore. I try. I can do the windmill super easy. And then now I had to unlearn the I will not try a 360 anymore. Will not. I had to. I spent like 3 or 4 jump sessions just learning how to jump normal again. So that was pretty much it. And then started jumping good again, getting super strong. And then I'm going to start playing basketball. And played basketball once. A kid fell on my leg, and I probably won't be able to jump for a while.
And that's where you're at now?
Yeah. It's weird. It's in my foot. It doesn't hurt really. In the mornings it'll hurt a little bit, but the motion of running or jumping, like fast movement or landing.
It just feels like a block right now, almost.
A
Like
block.
when you're like you're feeling like kind of like a little block when you're trying to do any like running or jumping.
Oh, it's just extreme pain.
Mm.
There's no like if I had to run for my life, I'd probably die. Because it's right now. I think right now it's a little. I could probably run a little bit. It'd be pretty painful, but I'm not gonna try. I tried to do a little jump the other day. It was pathetic. I maybe got 6 inches off the ground. Oh, and which is unique too is I told the coaches a while back. This is the one time Isaiah has responded to me. I was like, I think I'm supposed to jump right left because I'm weird with my feet. Don't really have a dominant foot because when I skateboard regular and goofy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I literally skate regular half the time and goofy the other half the time because my feet don't have exactly a dominant side. Like they both feel. It feels super weird. So it's really hard for me to learn how to skateboard for a little bit. And I was like, my right leg is what I'm supposed to jump off of. And you'll probably laugh at this. I've jumped one time off my right foot. It was when COVID was happening, and I was like, I'm going to jump over my fucking car. But I'm a 2-foot jumper, and I was running up to it, and I was like, fuck, I can't jump that far off 2 feet. And I was like, I have to go off one. I was like, I can't jump off one. And then I was trying to figure out which foot to jump off of, and I jumped off my right. And in basketball, I jump off my left always, and I jumped over it on my right foot. And I have 0 bounce off one, like 0. Like I don't even think I can't touch still 10 feet off my left. And I was like, I'm gonna go test both my verticals off one because I really want to be a 1-foot jumper. And I touched 10-3 off my right, couldn't touch 10 off my left. And I was like, dude, I think I'm supposed to jump right left. And I was like, the fact that I can jump that much higher. And then I was testing my right left, which I've never done before, and I was so close to touching 10-7. And then 2 days later, fucked my ankle up. So
Look, man,
the 360s fucked my jump up so bad. I like couldn't dunk normally. I couldn't do like the windmills were super hard, and I was like, I'm never doing this again until like I get locked back in. So that's where I'm at now. I'm going to try to power clean soon. I literally squatted 4 times this week. That's all I do, squat and upper body. And then right before you guys called, I'm sitting here just doing band shit with my foot, rolling my foot out every day. It's a lot better, but nowhere near jumping.
Yeah, man. Look, with everything that we've talked about on this podcast, everything you've told us, I don't doubt that you'll come back from this, and you obviously got a lot more to go for sure, because you've made so much progress in these last few months. It's crazy. Definitely one of the craziest like transformations, I guess. For sure. Like it's crazy. So thank you for being on the podcast, bro. Darshil, if you have anything you want to ask him, if not, we can end this off.
I don't got much to ask, to be honest.
Yeah, man. So yeah, now Dylan again, appreciate you for being on the podcast. His socials will be in the description, or his Instagram will be in the description. Do you have a YouTube right now or no?
No, dude. Like, I saw you guys doing this, and I was like, this is so dope. Like, some of the other guys have YouTubes. Like, I've always wanted to do it. I always try to post on social media and like
Mm-hmm.
keep up with it. It's a like when you text me, you're like, I got all this editing to do. It's a full time job and more to continue doing that. And I have the time. I want to. I want to do all that stuff. I've always liked that. Like I was trying to. I had a YouTube when I was in 2008, uh, which if I would have
Yeah.
stuck with it, it'd have probably been a lot different. But no, I want to. I want to do all that
Yeah.
stuff. It's just it's
I
a
would
lot
definitely.
of time.
Yeah, no, 100%, dude. If you have the time, I would definitely recommend starting a YouTube. Post some of the sessions, some of the videos from the sessions you already have now. So, yeah, check them out in the description. Me, Darshil, and Jayden's description or socials will also be in the description. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, give us 5 stars and follow. Thank you guys for watching. Dylan, thank you again for being on the podcast. We'll see you
Yeah,
on the
man, I
next
appreciate
one.
it.
Peace out.
Thank you.
Yep.